Okay, hey guys, welcome to me to our channel.
So today, it's year's gaming awards, and we're gonna start with Remaster of the Year. Without a doubt, 100%, the Remaster of the Year was in fact Crash Bandicoot. I don't think there's ever going to be a remaster that comes out that's gonna be bigger than Crash was, because Crash was one of the top selling games of the year. I mean, when it first came out, within a couple days, it became the top selling PlayStation game in the world for this year. And that was honestly crazy that it came up so quick, because in the beginning of the year there was games like Horizon Zero Dawn, and I believe Nier Automata came out before Crash. So with those games being there and Crash still beating them, that's crazy. Now we're going to talk about the worst reboot of the year. The worst reboot of the year goes to Prey. Prey is absolute garbage. It is quite possibly one of the worst games I have ever played. I mean, it's like Prey took everything that was good from Prey and just threw it out the window and was like, hey, let's make a very horrible BioShock clone and let's call it a Prey reboot and let's hope the fans like it. But in return, the fans hated it. It reviewed poorly, and Bethesda actually abandoned this game, and so did Arcane Studios. Like, there's so much DLC and stuff planned for this game, but because it didn't live up to what this game was, this game gets to die in a hole. And to be honest, it is not only the worst reboot of the year, it's the worst reboot of all time. So Prey 2017, back to the fire pit. Next up is the Hey, That Wasn't So Bad Game of the Year. The Hey, That Wasn't So Bad Game of the Year goes to Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, when this game came out, there was a whole lot of issues with it. It was buggy, it was a mess, a lot of people hated it. You know, we didn't get to play a Shepard, but although Shepard was in the game, we didn't play as him or really get to interact with him because he was just there as memory fragments. So the fact that that wasn't, a big portion of the game, a lot of people hated Mass Effect Andromeda, but Mass Effect Andromeda is just like Sonic Forces. It was hated because of Circle Jerk. This game was actually really good, but because of Reddit and the internet and how they are, this game actually got really poor reviews and stuff because people unanimously hated it because that was cool at the time to hate everything EA makes. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, pretty much everything EA makes is garbage, but Mass Effect Andromeda was a really good game. It deserved a lot more attention and a lot more care. It was set to have so much extra DLC, but just like Prey, it got abandoned. Next up on the list is Sports Game of the Year. And the Sports Game of the Year goes to FIFA 18. Now you may be wondering, why FIFA 18? Well, to be quite honest, all the other sport games that came out this year absolutely sucked. MLB, garbage. RBI baseball, it was okay. Madden, it's garbage every year. NHL, I don't even know anyone who actually plays NHL, so I can't really say anything about that. I just know nobody ever plays it. There is that cricket game that if you're outside of Australia, I don't think anybody bought it. And there's a couple other stuff, sport game-wise, that nobody really paid much attention to. So this was 100% Sport Game of the Year. They added a lot of things that was not in FIFA 17, like a team that actually works. That was pretty cool. Ultimate Team is fun to play again, and with it being put on the Switch, it just made FIFA go up in score so much higher, because had this not came to the Switch, it would have not have been my Sport Game of the Year, because the Switch version is the most optimized and the best playing and best running version of FIFA 18. If you play FIFA 18 on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, you're going to be hit with bugs. You're going to be hit with so much crazy bad stuff that you almost don't even want to play it anymore. Although they have fixed a lot of that, the Switch version was 100% perfect. Next up on the list is Soundtrack of the Year. There wasn't a whole lot of games who had a very good original soundtrack this year. Most of the games that came out this year that had a decent soundtrack was licensed games or licensed soundtracks. But Sonic Forces gets the Soundtrack of the Year because so many songs in this game were originally made just for this game, and it was phenomenal. Like, if you haven't heard some of these, like, go look up Sonic Forces Fist Bump. I guarantee you that is going to be your favorite song you have ever heard in a video game of 2017. I mean, yeah, there's some of the generic songs, like the ones in Assassin's Creed, the ones in Horizon Zero Dawn, that is just like background music, but in Sonic Forces, the songs were like, they meant something. They went with the level. Every song had a theme, every level had a theme, and every song went perfectly with that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to Game of the Year. Now, I'm pretty sure you probably know what the Game of the Year is because there's no game that could match this, you know. This game was 10 out of 10, and the highest rating game besides Mario that could actually like compete with this game is like a 6 out of 10 rating. And so that means Game of the Year is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Now, Breath of the Wild, it's kind of one of those weird Zelda games. It's like, it ushered in a new era for Zelda. It took us out of the serious darkness that we have known for so long, and it's ushered us into a cartoon era for the series. Which really, it's kind of weird that the cartoon era was like so big and so popular. So it's kind of like, how exactly did this game manage to overcome everything that everybody thought? Because everybody thought it was going to be horrible because it was supposed to come out in 2011 for the Wii U, and it kept getting pushed back and back and back. It got pushed back 6 years to 2017. And, you know, nobody had any expectations really for the game. But it came out and it blew us out of the water. Like, if you forget Super Mario Odyssey existed, this game is like 60% better than every other game that released this year. Horizon Zero Dawn is garbage compared to Breath of the Wild. Nier Automata, garbage compared to Breath of the Wild. Assassin's Creed Origins, garbage compared to Breath of the Wild. Like, I'm not just saying that because Breath of the Wild is awesome. I'm saying that because Breath of the Wild is amazing. Like, if you play this, like, I played all the games I've listed. And this is 100% the better game of all of them. You might disagree with that, but that's okay because this is my list. So if you had a different game of the year, let me know in the comments down below. And one more thing about this. The thing that I think made this the best Zelda of all time is because this is a Zelda that people could pick up that has never played a Zelda game before and understand it and enjoy it because it doesn't follow tight on the lore and you don't have to know the other games to understand it. Like, for example, the Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask, they're all on the same timeline. The timeline is Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and then Twilight Princess goes back and it's like Majora's Mask link comes into Twilight Princess and then Ocarina. It's hard to understand, okay? So if you didn't like play the Zeldas originally, this game made it so where you could just jump in and play it. And if you don't believe that, there's actually Nintendo Switch emulators already out. If you want to go give it a shot on your PC, that's up to you. Next up, we'll be talking about the retro games of the year and all the retro awards. Next up, we're going to be talking about Company of the Year and Console of the Year. So Company of the Year is obviously Nintendo. No company this year had a year as strong as Nintendo. PlayStation's year was mediocre at best. Xbox had a better year than PlayStation, but that's only because of the Xbox One X. If the Xbox One X didn't release, then Xbox would not have been up there. And PlayStation, honest to God, is barely up there at all this year. The only good exclusive that PlayStation had this year for PlayStation 4 was Horizon Zero Dawn. Every other game that came out this year that was big for the PlayStation was either a remaster or a port. You know, Yakuza 0 Kiwami, those are ports of PlayStation 3 games. And so many other games were ports of PC games, like Nier Automata was a port of a PC game. So PlayStation really suffered this year when it came to, the company as a whole. You know, Gran Turismo is quite possibly the worst game racing-wise that has ever released in the history of racing games. You know, Nicktoons Unite would have made a better racing game than Gran Turismo 5 or GT Sport or whatever it was called. It may have been GT Sport. I don't know the name of it because I really didn't care about it. But Microsoft, they had good games, but they didn't really have anything that we didn't expect. And then there was Nintendo. Nobody had any expectations for the Switch. The Switch came, and Nintendo brought out so many games that nobody had expectations for. You know, Odyssey, awesome. Breath of the Wild, amazing. Splatoon 2, amazing. ARMS, it's okay. It's still better than most games that released this year, but it's okay. And there was 1-2 Switch, there was Bomberman, there was so many games that came out for it that were exclusives that just made the system or just made the company so much money and so much popular this year that it was like, Jesus Christ, what are we gonna do about it? So Company of the Year goes to Nintendo. And now let's talk about the Console of the Year. Now the Console of the Year, this is actually kind of hard because this is just like going off of popularity and sales. Obviously PlayStation isn't there. Obviously PlayStation isn't there. Because PlayStation is just doing the same as it's been doing since 2013. It's really not gone up or down. But then there's Xbox and PlayStation. Or Xbox and Nintendo Switch, I mean. The Xbox One X released, and it's the most powerful console out there. And it became the most pre-ordered console of all time and the most bought day one console of all time. So for that to be a simple fact of the console life, it's kind of hard not to put it up there. And then the Nintendo Switch, it came out and it's already going to be deemed as the most popular console of all time. So many people have got a Switch. Switch is off the shelf. You can't even find it most places. If you do, you're gonna be lucky if it lasts like a full 2-day period. Like my local Best Buy, they had 200 Nintendo Switches for Black Friday. And by the end of Black Friday, before Black Friday even started actually, because this was Black Thursday, all the Switches were gone. All the Switches were gone. And that's a whole lot of people competing for a Switch. I live in a city of just under 1 million people. And just under 1 million people, and they only had 200 Nintendo Switches at the local Best Buy. The local GameStop had like 80, and I don't know how much Walmart, Meijer, and all them had, but that just shows you the demand for this console is through the roof. They can't even equalize it throughout the world, how many consoles they make. In this first year, not even a year, they've already came close to selling more units than the Wii U sold in 5 years. And it's looking like the Nintendo Switch is going to sell more units in its first year than the PlayStation 4 sold in its first year. And that's astronomically crazy for a Nintendo console, because ever since the release of the Nintendo 64, Nintendo has been trailing when it comes to sales. Although the GameCube was more powerful than the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, the GameCube trailed in sales. And then there was the Wii. The Wii, yes, it did win that generation when it comes to sales, but it didn't win the generation. It did not win the console generation, because within a couple years, it was dropped. It was like a gimmick, like nobody cared about it anymore. And still to this day, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 have games releasing for it. Neither the Wii or the Wii U have games releasing for it as of today. And that's crazy to think, because Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, they still have about 15 games each that are going to be releasing next year. And so those way outsold all the previous Nintendo things when it comes to life. But now the Switches came, and the Switch is a huge, crazy almost competitor again. Like, I would not be surprised if by the end of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, if it has sold more units than the PlayStation 4. I mean, we know it's going to sell more units than the Xbox One, but if it sells, when it sells more units than the PlayStation 4, that's going to be crazy. And Sony is taking note of that. Sony even filed a patent for a console that is very similar to the Nintendo Switch. And that just blows my mind. So it's really hard to determine console of the year between the Xbox One X and the Nintendo Switch. But if I have to tell you, and I have to pick between the two, which I do because it's an award video, I am going with the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch was just way too perfect. Way too perfect. All the things I listed, and there's still crazy numbers of games coming out for it. We got Fallout 4 coming out for it. So much stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Metal Gear Solid collection. The Metal Gear Solid collection is coming to the Switch before it comes to Xbox and PlayStation 4. And if that doesn't blow your mind, then I don't know what's going to blow your mind. And there's so many other games that are releasing exclusively for the Nintendo Switch, or is going to have a superior version on the Nintendo Switch over the next year, that it's going to blow your mind, man. Like, Bethesda is porting all their games over to Nintendo Switch over the next year. And it's just like, Yes, it's not going to look as good, but having it portable and having it on the Switch, which I'm not going to lie, man, playing games on the Switch, it feels so much better than playing it on Xbox or PlayStation or even PC, in my opinion, because it just feels more fun. You feel more interested in the game. It's more like, I don't know what to call it. I just know it personally. I have a better experience playing games on the Nintendo Switch than I do anything else. So right now, my main gaming ways go Switch, PC, Xbox, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo DS, Game Boy Advance, and then PlayStation 4. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. I literally hate my PlayStation 4. I literally only use it for emulators and Jack and Daxter. I really don't use it for anything else. I mean, Yakuza 6, that's going to be the next game I buy for the PlayStation 4, and it doesn't come out till March. So if that doesn't tell you how much my interest has changed over the last couple months, then I don't know what will, man. Because, I mean, when I started the CRUZANDO channel in March of 2016, I was nothing but PlayStation. I played nothing but PlayStation. And then now, fast forward almost 2 years later, Nintendo is my most played console. I don't count PC as a console because it's just like a PC, but Nintendo is my most played console. It's like it's 2002 all over again.
My name's Samantha. Well, you can call me Sam or Sammy, doesn't matter. My retro game of the year, and that would be Viva Piñata. Honestly, it's one of my favorite games because I mean it's just so cool. Okay, guys, sorry, cause like I just figured out that the app that I'm using like cuts off the video at 45 seconds, and I've been talking for like 4 minutes, so I'm gonna have to do this in segments. But anyways, so Viva Piñata, it's my favorite game, and like what it is that like you're on Piñata Island, and well that's what it's called. I think it's an island, and what you do is like you're actually creating your own garden, and like what you want to do is like attract piñatas that like live on the island, and like it's really cool because like at first they're black and white, and then like once they like accept your garden and they come live in your garden, they actually change color, and it's cool because like the animals there, like they're actually like a mixture between, well the name is a mixture between the animal, like the candy it actually has, sorry, the candy it actually has inside it. So like my favorite one, it's a mouse mellow, and what it is, it's like a mouse of course, and the candy it has is a marshmallow. So like they put the two things together and it's a marshmallow. Like it's so cute, and it's like super small. Well, it's not that small, but it's small. And it's actually purple. And another one of my favorites is a unicorn. I have no idea what the candy is, honestly. Like, but it's a unicorn. So it's like amazing. But it takes forever to get because you have to get gem trees, and those are hard to find. And then you have to get like a seed from some dude, and then you also have to have a master in, well not, you have to master the breeding of a horse stachio. That's a horse and a pistachio. Yeah. And then but the one thing I hate is that like when you're doing like super duper good, these little monsters come, and they're called ruffians. And what they do is like they mess up your garden. So say you have a pond, they'll fill it, or they'll fill the pond up with dirt, and then like they'll fight with your piñatas, and they'll do all this stuff. And like the leader of them is called Professor Pester. Like that's a perfect name for him because he's always pestering you. And like what I hate is like he comes into your garden and he gets like your most valuable piñata and kills it in front. But like you can't do anything about it when he kills it. But one thing you can do actually, when he's going to like kill it, like he'll put like a little like a check mark or something, and like he's gonna go walk to it and kill it. So like you put your cursor over the animal he's gonna kill. Like you can't do anything about it, you just watch. And like when he kills it, like all this candy comes out, and then like there's a special candy, and it's called the the piñata's life candy. Like what you do is like you grab it, and then you can actually take it to this lady and you sell it to her. Like, doesn't matter, you just sell it. And you get money, and then you can go to this other lady, and like, you can actually get her and pay her to hunt the piñata down. So it's like, you're not wasting any money, you're just like getting your piñata back. So it helps a lot, like in case you didn't know, in case you don't want to lose one of your like favorite piñatas that's like super expensive because they're so hard to get. But yeah, so that's it. By the way, in case I don't do another video, I'm sorry, because I do actually work and go to school, so it's pretty hard for me. But hopefully I see you guys next time. If not, bye for a while, or maybe for a bit.
So Retro Game of the Year goes to Jak 2 for obvious reasons, very, very obvious reasons. This game has been the most talked about Retro Game of the Year. It's been the most wanted Retro Game of the Year. It's been the most sought after Retro Game of the Year. No retro game has been what Jak 2 has been. I mean, Jak and Dexter released in August, which Jak and Dexter, the first one, is the worst one in the entire series, even worse than The Lost Frontier, if I might add. This is almost collectively everybody's favorite Jak game. So they made us wait all the way until this coming Wednesday, December 6th, 2017, to play this game, and it released yesterday, and it's kind of been a pretty big deal with it releasing. I mean, it's like nobody expected it to be released this year. I mean, they said it was going to be released this year, but we waited so long, everybody thought it was just canceled. And here it comes, and it's not canceled. And it's actually not me, the one that's clickbaiting the prices and stuff for it this time. So that, I got beat to the punch about that. Now there's one other person of relevancy that beat me to the clickbaiting of the prices for this game. So that kind of triggers me a little bit. That's been this year's Gaming Awards. It wasn't as extravagant as last year. I didn't film this in the middle of a GameStop or anything. But, you know, we gotta build back up before we can do cool stuff again. So with that being said, my name is CRUZANDO. You've been watching V2. Try not to die, and I'll see you in the next video.